back and get ready to have the most fun you ever had with an electronic device.
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Get On With It Sports Show. It is Wednesday, November the 6th, 2024. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. RadioPete and Mr. Harry Lug Nutz playing Airbase. How are you two gentlemen this evening?
You know, fine.
There's so much to be excited about.
Thrilling.
Yeah. Nothing big happening in the world, you know.
Not at all. Not at all. We had the World Series last week. We had that.
We did, and this week we have imminent fascism.
We have the end. You have the end of the great American democracy experiment.
That's right. But let's talk about offensive linemen.
Because that, I think we can all agree, is a much bigger hot button issue. All right.
Oh, it's yeah, absolutely.
Right. So let's start with baseball.
I think we should, because I wear a Giants jersey, but it's a baseball jersey, so I figure we cover both things tonight, and we get the baseball background up, so we should start baseball. But I digress. Less of them tonight. We got to start with the memes. There we go. So.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah. So
Pete and I were both thinking maybe they went away.
Nope. Tried.
Start tonight. They're all gonna go. They're gonna go up once a day on Instagram and Facebook on our page. But we'll show them tonight, and then we'll reveal them.
If you really want to
go, so we absolutely do. So this first one here is I was starting off low. It's Dr. Nix. If you can put it in, we can take it out.
Wow, it's a proctologist.
Yeah, assumedly. Well, I mean,
it could be an otolaryngologist.
Could be an otolaryngologist.
What is that?
An otolaryngologist?
Ear, nose, and throat guy.
Ear, nose, and throat. Yeah.
Okay.
You can put it in your ear, or your nose, or your throat, or anywhere else, if they say it. But you were probably more spot on with the proctology thing.
People always go to the ER with something stuck in their throat.
Right.
I think if you get something stuck in your throat, the odds of you dying are pretty high. In the ass, maybe not quite as high.
Yeah. Probably not. It depends on what it is, right?
Unless you're an ass breather. Unless you're an ass breather, which
right.
It's much more of a embarrassment factor.
Right. I don't know how the Unga Bunga bat got stuck in there, but it did.
It did.
I slipped. It's always the slipped and fell on it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I slipped and it went right in. I tried to avoid it, but alas, was not able to. So speaking of alas, we'll move on from that one. We have I actually didn't even make that digression, but it actually works. We have this one here. Cucumbers are food, not pleasure.
Well,
why not both?
And it's on a billboard too. I'm wondering what this is an ad for.
Depends on how you toss your salad.
That's true.
I like the hat.
What does the hat have to do with
hat in the background?
I don't know.
Is that a warning to hey, you bowler wearers out there?
And if scale is anything, that's the world's largest cucumber or the smallest hat. No, it's not. Maybe it's a hat for your cucumber.
It's probably a cucumber hat. Yeah, absolutely.
Cucumber hat.
You're right. I didn't even think of looking at it. I'm like, I was trying to figure out what the hat's doing there, but you're right. That is a huge cucumber. If that's the size of it.
That's just forced perspective. That's all.
Oh, I got you.
Forced perspective. Yeah, there's more questions raised by this than I think.
Do we really need a billboard for this? That's crazy. Who's this? I wonder who this is actually by. The Cucumber Association of America?
Or the Hat Association of America.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right.
That cucumber is ribbed for her pleasure.
I was going to say the same thing. All right, moving on to the next one. Along the same lines, if you will. This is a Ernesto manual sausage maker.
Sure. Well, there you go.
I just, they could have. It could have been a better design.
It's all analog these days.
It's all ball bearings these days. But
that's one of the most disgusting things I think I've ever seen.
I would never eat that sausage, and I like sausage.
Yeah.
But
like I said, you don't really want to see how the sausage is made.
you really don't.
No,
You really don't.
you
It's
really
one of
don't.
the DIY things I'm not sure I want to do.
I don't think so. Just go buy it, cook it, eat it. Done.
Would you say that sausage is circumcised or uncircumcised?
I would
It looks
say
circumcised to me. Or I don't know.
I think it's a botched circumcision. Either that, or he's really got the turtleneck pulled back taut.
Yeah, I'm going with un. Yeah, I'm going with un.
All right,
that's what I'm doing.
I agree.
I agree. All right. Well,
I like this the small plate with the piece of thyme and the caperberry.
Yeah, like you have to cook that, right? You can't just throw it on the plate and serve it.
Just can't stick it in the sausage condom and throw it on a plate.
That's funny stuff. All right. Moving on to the next one. We got this store's special ice cool young
cunt.
Yeah.
With pulp.
With pulp.
Took all three of us to say that line.
Yeah, young cunt with pulp. YCWP.
YCWP.
Yeah.
At 500 milliliters too. Yeah, that's a big one.
What that's supposed to be?
Yeah, this is always one of the most interesting things is what did they mean to write?
And what other store is special would this be? Why do you have to tell me it's this store is special? That's what's bugging me out more than anything else.
They don't have this anywhere else.
Another store is special,
right? This is ice cool, not cold, but cool.
Cool, right? It's kind of like lukewarm. It's cool. It's not cold. It's cool.
And it's
chilled.
I mean, honestly, it's cool. It's got pulp. It's young. How young is really the question?
I mean,
here.
Who cares? It's $1.10 each.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I'm saying there's a lot of things about it that might be less than appealing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, cunts with pulp are coming back. The kids are,
they are. They're not. They're keeping their pulp these days.
Listen, my roommate in college used to be really into these, and he would be like, "I'm going out to get some young cunt with pulp,
cool ones,
ice cool. Do you want?"
Ice cool.
And I just that combination, I just like, nah, no, not really.
Yeah, well, it's a specialty.
It's an acquired taste.
It is a specialty.
I mean, I don't know if it's acquired, but yeah.
It's acquired to some degree, but. All right, and
it's illegal in a lot of cases.
It depends on how young it is. So.
That's where the young comes in. That's
right, exactly.
You can't give me a range, then I'm not interested.
You even realize he just said that. That's where the young comes in.
The papers.
There you go. All right. Moving on to the last one of the evening would be this one right here. I'll just leave it right here. La Vanessa and Nicole Beauty Salon, Brazilian blowjob, $700, whatever that is.
Dollars.
Any length.
Any length.
Is that the currency type next to the 7 there?
That's the currency type. Whatever. I'm assuming that's in.
It's pussy.
Is that what that is?
What
is that? What it is?
That's the international side for pussy. Gonna cost you.
What is the Brazilian currency?
I don't know, but why would it be written in English though?
Look at the
tourism.
Oh, true. Yes.
Look at the phone number. Real, the official currency of Brazil.
Is that what it is?
Divided into 100 centavos.
I wonder what the conversion is
So what's the conversion for dollars?
I don't know. I mean, that's the official currency of Brazil. This might be sort of an underground currency.
Oh, I got you.
Either way, I mean, it could be one of those, some of those Eastern European countries where they have like 10,000 of these coins make like a buck, so it could be something like that.
It's $123.30.
It is that P with 2 lines in it is the Philippine peso.
There we go. So this is not necessarily in Brazil.
No, it's a Brazilian blowjob.
But is it a Brazilian? So maybe it's a Brazilian person who's in the Philippines.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
So 700 Philippine pesos is only $11.87.
$11.87. Now that's cheap at half the price.
I mean, that's cheaper than the young cunt.
Well, no, the young cup was only $1.10. So.
Well, you have to buy a dozen though.
That's true.
Well, now
all
here's
right.
the thing. One final question.
One question.
Any length of time, length of
whatever.
It's length of hair, but yes.
Because one is like, hey, one size fits all, so to speak, or one fits all size, I guess would be and the other,
Right.
It would be a bargain. Like, hey, I got an appointment in about 45 minutes. I'm going to go spend $11 and get a really long Brazilian blowjob.
It's not the length of time.
They'll all be refreshed.
Although that does vary.
Exactly. I got a 45-minute Brazilian blowjob.
It was only $11. Right. It was incredible.
Adding length. Hey, it's like, I got about 6 hours to spare. Here's $11.80.
Yeah.
Well, how was the meeting? How was the meeting? I have no idea. I didn't care.
I wonder what the average duration of a Filipino blowjob is.
Well, no, it's a Brazilian blowjob.
Well, in the Philippines. It's in the Brazilian blowout.
Now, is it somebody from Brazil in the Philippines, or are they just doing a Brazilian style?
It's style. Yeah.
Gotcha.
What if a Brazilian style blowjob is like not a very good one?
It's not.
And that's why it's $11. You're like, oh.
But
what do you want to do? You want to go to a pro? It's $45.
But
you go in here, it's 11, but you're not going to enjoy it very much.
A bad blowjob is still a good time.
A bad blowjob is worth 700 Filipino pesos.
There you go. All right.
All right.
Those are the memes for today.
Are those really memes?
Graphics, funny signs, whatever you want to call them. There you go. All right. Cool. All right. World Series. I think we should let our resident Yankee fan start this particular chat.
Yeah,
I
think I'm gonna go get about a 20-minute Brazilian blowjob.
I'll be back. It's gonna be short. Okay.
Here's just short Brazilian blowjob. That's
yes, it is gonna be.
Let me talk. It'll be shorter. Here's the summary of the World Series.
Go ahead.
The Yankees cheaped out and re-signed a horrible Anthony Rizzo,
right?
And the Dodgers got Mookie Betts, and a year later signed Freddie Freeman. That's the World Series. So the Dodgers spent money smarter than the Yankees, had more depth, and had more guys who came up clutch. Look, the Yankees should have won Game 1. The fifth inning of Game 5 was an absolute debacle. And, this very well could have went 6 or even 7. Do I think the Dodgers were the better team? Yes. But even Dave Roberts admitted that he was not excited about the prospect of going back to LA with the Yankees having won 2, in New York. So, look, the obvious takeaways are that Judge, with the exception of maybe one game, really didn't show up. And they got some production from people that I didn't think they would get production from in the playoffs, namely Torres and Stanton. Rizzo's batting average was good, but I don't think he had any home runs or any RBIs. And the Yankees defense, which has been a weak spot in spots all year, it just showed up at the worst possible time. The lack of understanding of the fundamentals of baseball.
Right.
And they need another starting pitcher who's more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I thought their bullpen did fair. Luke Weaver is probably going to go into next year. They re-signed him as their closer.
Sure.
But, they got out-coached too.
Yeah.
Aaron, he just made some bad decisions. Bringing in Nestor Cortez was a mistake. And I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong,
fortunately, Nestor Cortez only threw 2 pitches. So,
he was efficient. But I don't think Marcus Stroman pitched an inning. So why are you when you're relying on your bullpen so much these days in the postseason, especially in a World Series, why have somebody on your roster that you're just not going to bring in, especially a guy who was an innings eater for most of the year? And look, in the last game, Conley was just his arm. He was tired, and you saw it. He had no location, and his velocity was down, and they tagged him. So it is what it is. I didn't think the Yankees would make it this far. The Yankees are in a situation, and I've said this for the last 2 years. They have to go all in right now. They have to cough up the money. They need to re-sign Soto, and they need to go out and get somebody like Pete Alonso. They need to do this, or they're done. Because they just have to be able to ride Garrett Cole and the next couple of years. This is their window. Now, if you have Judge and Soto, Soto proved himself, but he was on a contract year. He was hitting over 300 for most of the season, wound up hitting 288. Did fairly well, I would say, in the postseason and won the pennant for him. So who's more valuable?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
Steinbrenner and Cashman have been cheap as far as the Yankees go.
Right.
Now I think Cashman pulled kind of an interesting card with Garrett Cole. He said, "No, we're not going to re-sign you. Go test free agency." And Cole said, maybe I don't want to do free agency. So we'll see what happens. But Gleyber Torres is up. Anthony Rizzo is up. Obviously, Soto is the big piece. If they don't get Soto, which, they probably got a 50-50 shot. If they don't, then they need to go and get – if the Mets sign Soto, then the Yankees need to go and get Alonso from the Mets. They need somebody in that fourth spot or that third spot to be able to compete with the other teams. And, I still think they were the best team in the American League. They just weren't as good as the Dodgers.
Let me ask you this, and your honest opinion.
Yeah.
Had the Dodgers, all things equal, had the Dodgers not gotten past the Mets, had the Mets won the NLCS, who in your mind would the Yankees have stood a better chance, or would the Mets have won the World Series?
I think the Dodgers were a better team than the Mets.
I agree.
I don't necessarily think
agree.
The Yankees are a better team than the Mets. I think it would have been very close. The Mets were a hotter team, but the Yankees were playing pretty good ball coming in. Now, you could argue that the Mets played maybe better teams than the Yankees did in the postseason up till that point. Mm-hmm. But the Mets and Yankees fared equally the same against the Dodgers. It was moments of trying to stick around and then blowing games that they should have won. But that good teams win those games, and the Dodgers were a good team. And you always had the feeling that this thing was theirs, and that there wasn't very many moments.
Right.
We were watching the game together. I thought in game 5, I thought, all right, this is going to turn it. We're going to go back to LA. We're going to have a shot. And it just fell apart. And that's the Yankees.
Well, you see, I said it to you. I said it to both of you. We left. Well, if we didn't leave, it's because we got up from the table and left.
Because we left Hoboken.
Let me tell you something.
That top of the 5th inning happened. I would
have been sleeping under the table in Hoboken. This fucking being on the East Coast for these 8 o'clock starts, which really started 8:20, is absolutely ridiculous. But,
yeah, you were pretty much ready to leave by the 3rd inning.
I was sick, and I was going to somebody's house where the average bedtime is 4:30 p.m.
4:30 p.m. Right, exactly. So, this was the 3 of us earlier in the day at the good old Mad Hatter there in Hoboken. So there you go.
Yeah, God.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder we have followers. We're the ugly bunch of lunks.
We didn't get arrested. Well, look, here's my 2 cents about the World Series.
Go ahead.
It was disappointing.
Yeah.
It was disappointing in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
It was disappointing because, with the exception of one game, all the rest of these games were either 2 or 3 run games.
Sure.
And there just weren't enough Yankee wins. So it was disappointing that it only went 5.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I was rooting for the Dodgers. But that was disappointing. It was disappointing because the great Ohtani Aaron Judge showdown didn't really happen.
Didn't materialize. Never
and often that's the case.
Right.
How many World Series are where the hero is a Jim
right.
Leyritz
But I mean,
or
they
you know.
they did nothing game after game after
No.
game. And
But
that was
Judge had one decent game, and so did Ohtani.
yeah,
Ohtani,
yeah. It's not like they didn't do
hurt.
anything at all,
Right.
but they were not the guys that were the
No.
catalyst to powering their team
No.
in any real respect. So that was disappointing. I thought Aaron Boone's performance in the fifth inning was disappointing. I don't understand how you don't go out and talk to your pitcher. At least do something. That was an absolute defensive meltdown.
Yeah.
And you could say, okay, well, the Yankees defense wasn't great. Okay, well, it was good enough to get them into the World Series.
Well, how often is Aaron Judge going to drop a routine fly ball?
Right, but I'm saying so that, but it wasn't just that. Then it was a bad throw at third base. Then it was, you want to blame Rizzo. You want to blame
that
Cole.
same play. That same play happened earlier in the game, and Rizzo got it, waved off Cole, and ran. I blame that on Rizzo.
But he was a lot closer. I watched those two. He was 3 or 4 steps closer.
He's closer pitcher, though. He still needs to be breaking.
But he still needs to be looking up and realizing that the pitcher is not making a break for the bag.
He's not a spectator. He's playing the game.
And at least attempt to get over to the bag.
Well,
he needs to be breaking for first base. If he doesn't go there and he has to be waved off again, he gets waved off again, so be it. But he needs to be breaking. That's fundamentals. He needs, as pitcher, the ball's hit where it was. He needs to be breaking.
There's the lack of effort on both of them.
Yeah. So it was just, this stumbling, bumbling comedy of errors. and that was, again, if you're a diehard Dodger fan, you love it. But that's something that shouldn't happen.
Well, you get tight. You get tight when it's the World Series.
But
and
that's
look,
that's the sort of thing that shouldn't happen, and you don't expect to see that. And it's disappointing when you do. Like, I think I texted you guys because I didn't listen to the game when we drove home. I figured the Yankees were going to win. Right. And then I saw everything. I saw the highlights later and stuff. I texted you guys. I felt a little bad for Cole.
Yeah, of course.
He was just out there twisting in the wind, and this is the ace. And
when you give up 5 runs and none of them are earned, I mean,
not getting any help from outfield and a couple of guys in the infield.
Look, the difference is if that would have happened to the Dodgers, which if they had a meltdown like that, they would have come back and scored enough runs to win the game. And you just saw it. When
it was a backbreaker.
The bottom of the Yankees lineup is horrible. Now, to their credit, there was a few games there where they showed up. But when I saw the 9th inning was the bottom of that lineup, I knew that it was over.
Yeah, and it was a backbreaker, especially after the big win in Game 4, which you figure, okay, they're going to win at least one. But then they come in and they're leading and it's looking good, and your ace is on the mound, and then just something that you wouldn't really necessarily wish on your worst enemy happens.
No.
So all of these things made, to me, ultimately the series disappointing.
Dodgers were a better team. The Dodgers are a team that and look, they endured injuries. Clayton Kershaw didn't even play. You could argue 3 of their top 3 pitchers weren't even in the World Series.
Right. Yeah, and a couple of them didn't really pitch at all this season.
Yeah, and Ohtani's didn't pitch. So they've got players who have been there before, who are at the right age to win, and they don't have to rely on one person. And Freddie Freeman had a hell of a World Series, but that's the difference. Their top of their lineup goes through to 4 to 5, and I don't understand Aaron Boone leaving Stanton in the 5th spot and putting Jazz Chisholm in the 4th spot. It
didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't. I think I texted you guys like he's trying to get fired.
Yeah, I don't know, and he won't be. He won't be. And while I hope that the Yankees of the late '90s in the offseason act like this again, they won't. There's not a go out and get A-Rod and sign David Justice and there isn't anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And they got some decisions to make, and they're going to overpay Gleyber Torres, which, if his numbers are okay, he just drives me insane. There's something in his eyes that just makes me want to punch him in the face. It seems like he's never all there.
Yeah.
And but he had a decent postseason, and he wasn't the reason they lost by any means. So they're going to overpay him to keep him, I think, unless somebody really shells out a lot of money for him. But I still think they have major holes to fill in, and I think starting pitching is one of them. Look, you got 2, maybe 3 good years left in Cole, and not as good as the last 2 years, probably, or 3 years. So you have to get somebody that's more consistent than Rodon. Look, I was all for Rodon, and when Rodon is on, he's great. But the postseason is where you show up.
Yeah.
That's where you earn your pinstripes. Either you show up or you don't. And we're Yankee fans. So right or wrong, this is what we judge you on. We don't fucking care about anything else. And this is why Aaron Judge, I'm sorry, his numbers are staggering. But you haven't done it, buddy. We said the same thing about A-Rod for years and years and years until he finally broke through. So we need you to break through. And it needs to happen when Stanton's doing it and when the other guys are hitting. But how many more years do they have of this? So go all in. Go all in. If not, even if you re-sign Soto, having Judge and Soto is not enough for this team with the pitching that they have. Yeah. And I hope Soto stays. I think he should. I think it's a great fit for him, and I think it's smart for him to be a Yankee. But these players, it's all about money, and their agents are dictating more of where they go than ever before. And the allure, if the way things are going, he'll probably wind up on the fucking Dodgers.
Well, look, the Yankees, I think, are at a disadvantage in that respect, because the Dodgers did what the Yankees used to do, right? They went out, they signed Ohtani, although an insane contract, which he was willing to do because he wanted to play for them. Right. They got Yamamoto. I mean, over the last few years, right? They brought in Betts. They got Freddie Freeman. They were number 2 in payroll. I mean, it was the Yankees and the Dodgers, and the Mets were,
I think the Mets were number 1, actually, weren't they?
Mets were the highest. Mets, Yankees, Dodgers.
Okay.
So I don't know how the Yankees, if they can find a formula to do that as successfully, because you can't just spend the money. You've got to
you got to get the right people. That's my point.
The right people, and
if I know who the right people are, like I said this 2 years ago, I said the Yankees have to. There was that season when Freeman was a free agent and a bunch of other first basemen, and I said you have to get one of these top 3 first basemen. You have to. You have to go out. They're an anchor to your defense, and these guys are going to be a 3rd or 4th hitter in your lineup for the next 3 or 4 years, and you need that behind Judge. All right. Soto was a great acquisition, and I love Soto, and I think he's a great player. Okay. And I hope they re-sign him. Okay. If the Yankees need to move, which better chance now that he had the postseason that he did, if they can move Giancarlo Stanton and open up some space, and if they have to let Torres go, and it means they can get somebody with a top-notch pitcher and maybe some pop in the lineup consistently, I'm all for it. But to break up that Judge, I think, had the season that he had because of Soto. He didn't have as many home runs, but he had way more RBIs. His on-base percentage, I think, was even higher than the year that he hit 60. What was it, 63? 62 home runs. So, and I don't care about home runs. I care about driving in runs in the postseason. And he hasn't done it. He's not Reggie Jackson. Okay. He's not Tino Martinez. He's not Bernie Williams. He's not Derek Jeter. They're not performing at that level. And if the Yankees scored a little bit more consistently, and that the top of that, that lineup was performing the way it should have, it would have put far less pressure on their pitchers.
Right.
Yeah. And you gotta ask yourself, do the Yankees have the personnel in place, not on the field, but in the office, to put together that combination, to figure out who are the right guys and how much can we afford to give them? And can anyone say, I have a lot of confidence in Cashman, and I have confidence in the ownership that they're actually going to spend the money? I don't see how any Yankee fan feels like this management team is ever going to really figure it out.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Well, that's 20 minutes on the Yankees.
Sorry.
Let's move on.
Anything to say about the Dodgers?
I already said it. They were the best team in baseball.
They're going to be better next year when they get their pitching back.
Right.
Yeah. That's where I was going.
They're going to be even better.
As good as they were this year, winning the World Series, only losing 1 game in the World Series and 2 games in the NLCS. They're going to be better next year.
And they won what, 99 or 90? Was it 99 during the regular season?
98.
98, yeah. And they're going to get Kershaw back, who isn't great in the postseason usually. And they're going to get Ohtani back. You know, and somebody else. There's somebody else who's hurt on the 3 top of the line starting pitchers who didn't even pitch this year.
Sandy Koufax
Junior.
Right.
Sandy Koufax
third.
Junior
the third, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
So, we'll see what happens.
You know,
predictions.
Good luck, everybody else. And they went all through all the injuries this year, and they still won.
Predictions about
what the Padres did to get better, and
I still think the Yankees can compete with them, and I think they can beat them if they get the right fit. You know, look, the Yankees had a miserable middle part of the season and still were the best team in the American League in the regular season.
Listen, you can win, and you can win in the 7-game series.
Yep.
You know,
early predictions on where Alonso and Soto go.
I think they both. If I had to bet, I think they both stay where they're at.
Okay.
All right. You know what? Let's. I don't know. What else do we need to talk about in baseball? Nothing, right?
Nothing.
No, we're done.
So let's do. Can we do an Are They For Real?
Sure.
We can do an Are They For Real? Yes, we can.
What is real?
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Pretty sure none of that's real.
You're not real.
For real, for real, for real. Yeah.
Are you for real? For real? For real? For real?
Are they for real?
What is real?
All right. Speaking of Pete Alonso and Juan Soto and their respective teams, and they are both free agents. So we have to ask the question, who's more for real, or what is more for real? And we're going to be very specific here. Pete Alonso re-signing with the Mets, or Juan Soto re-signing with the Yankees. Which one of those things is more for real?
I think Pete Alonso re-signing with the Mets is more for real than Juan Soto re-signing with the Yankees. Not by much.
I agree.
But more.
Next.
Juan Soto, more likely to go somewhere else. I agree, too. Yeah. Just because of its history. All right. Let's switch it up a little bit here and talk a little football, because I know we're going to talk a little bit of football. More for real, possibility of happening. Lamar Jackson winning a 3rd MVP award, or Derrick Henry breaking the single season rushing record, of which he is about 70 or 80 yards away from. No,
yeah, I think
a little less than 100 yards away from.
I think Derrick Henry. Look, imagine if they figured out that they had Derrick Henry the first 3 games of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
No, Derrick Henry breaking the
look.
And I thought of this question.
I don't think Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson does not deserve an MVP this year.
No, not at all.
Yeah, again, I thought of this a couple of weeks ago when
there's still a lot of games,
and Derrick Henry was a couple hundred yards away.
Yeah, there's still a lot of games.
And now it's an almost certainty. So, all right, let's throw into Are They For Real here. Give me your, I guess, just give me a. Are they for real if they come back? And we'll talk about just the Yankees and the Mets. I'll give you a handful of names. So they're for real if they come back. They're free agents this year. So just give me a yes or no. Soto.
I feel optimistic.
Optimistic. All right, John?
I got to go right down the middle. It could really, I'm 50-50 on that one.
And the reason why is Judge said the same bullshit after when he was a free agent, and
it worked.
And it worked.
Look, it's going to come down to, and maybe I'm wrong, and I could very easily be wrong, but it's going to come down to if he wants to be a Yankee. That's bottom line, because he's almost certainly going to get offered more money from the Mets and from the Dodgers than he is from Hal Steinbrenner.
I don't know if he'll get offered more money for the Dodgers. I'm not sure they have it.
All right, maybe not, but definitely the Mets.
Yeah.
Steve Cohen will drive the price up.
All right.
Yeah.
So Rizzo. Coming back or not coming back?
I hope not for real.
No.
I know.
Please.
I'm not asking what you hope. I'm asking what you think is going to happen.
Not
Will
for
the
real.
Yankees re-sign him?
They can't.
No.
They can't.
Okay, so no.
Unless it's for $50 a game.
I'll say no. No, I'll say yes.
No, I'll say yes.
I haven't looked at what first baseman or free agents.
I could see him playing for the Mets though, and having a bounce back year where he hits 290 with 30 home runs.
Or
they're not going to need. They're not going to need it. If Pete Alonso doesn't resign with the Mets, Mark Vientos will be over playing first base, and Luis Angel Acuna will be on third.
All right, hallelujah. Taco Bell.
All right, Glaber.
For real.
He'll be back.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Harry's favorite, Clay Holmes.
No.
Will they re-sign him? They will not.
No, they won't.
All right, so Holmes is a no. Rizzo's a no. Torres a yes. Soto probably from John and a yes. All right, let's do the Mets. Johnny, you start. Alonso, will he be back?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's going to go somewhere else.
No, he'll be back.
All right. Severino. I'm not keeping track of these, by the way.
Severino will be, yes.
I think if the Mets would be smart to resign him, yeah.
I think they'll be stupid and they'll let him go.
Maybe
spoken like a true Mets fan.
Come back across the bridge.
Like a true disgruntled Mets fan. Bader.
They should.
Yep. Bader's back.
You'll take you'll take the offense because you get the great defense, right?
Yeah, and
we'll see if we can.
I told you, he's one of those bargain propositions. He actually 100%. Had a good year.
He will be back.
Manaea.
I hope so. Again,
he opted out, same as what Cole did, but they gotta extend him. I hope they do.
He had a couple bad games in the playoffs, but he had a couple great games too.
Yeah,
I'm about where I am with Soto with Manaea.
He's got a wandering eye.
Yeah.
I don't think he really gives a shit about playing for the Mets.
Yeah, I don't either. I think if they give him the money, but there's other pitching out there.
You go to Seattle or something.
Senga's going to be back. They're clearly going after what's his face. So
they get what's his face. Forget about it.
Yeah, forget it. All right, last for the Mets, Winker.
Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler.
Hey.
They bring him back. They got to bring him back, right?
I hope so.
Winker will be back. Winker will be back. Jesse Winker will be back.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
That's about it. So they throw that all over the. So
we'll see.
Like I said, I'm not keeping a tally, but
time will tell.
Oh, all right.
And that is, are they for real?
That is, are they for real? All right. That was our are they for real? There we go. Cool. All right. Football?
NFL?
And a little NFL. Not a lot, just a little NFL.
Can I just say something real quick about the NFL? I don't know what it is, but this has been the least interesting season for me to watch in a long time.
I'm bored.
Anyway.
I'm bored. I've watched less football this year than I normally.
Is it just me? Okay, so it's not just me.
No.
Right.
No. And I've been, and in the last, and here's my thing too. I'm not going to get on a giant soapbox. I really don't want.
They can't. They don't deserve one.
No. But I was at the last two Giants games.
Mm-hmm. So
last Monday,
you're the bad luck.
Right. Last Monday in Pittsburgh and this past Sunday in MetLife. And I got to tell you, I've seen some lackluster football. and the scores of both games do not show the shit that I saw.
Yeah, the Giants were never as close as the score indicated.
Either game. And Daniel Jones needs to go. He will play this week. I guarantee you he will play this week.
You know, I think they should turn him into like an old school flanker. You know, like throw him a 5-yard pass and let him, because he's kind of a tough runner. You know,
let's just say, here's my thing with that. And I brought this up the other day to somebody. When he is running, when it's a designed run for him, right, he actually can cut. He can elude tackles, avoid tackles, and he can pick up the extra yards. Takes too many hits, but he can pick up the extra yardage, right? When he is dropping back to pass and has to scramble, he's scared shitless.
Here's the reason. Here's the reason for that. Here's my takeaway with Daniel Jones. His response time, his reaction time is not what it needs to be for an NFL quarterback.
No.
That's him, and that's summing it up. And I'm being kind. He's a backup. He'll be a great backup quarterback. You know,
I agree.
And he would make a nice backup. I think also
nice $40 million backup quarterback. Yeah.
Well, no, I don't mean on the Giants. I mean for somebody else down the road, he would be one of those nice mentor guys.
Yeah,
right.
I guess.
He's in the league. He doesn't start it because he does have starting experience, and you're bringing in that rookie kid, and you want somebody, who's been there. Not that he's had a whole lot of success, but he's been in the league for more than a year or two or whatever. He's played 6-7 years, whatever, as a starter. Yeah. And he can talk to the kid a little bit about how to deal with stress, and certainly how to deal with the fans telling you you're whatever on your way out of the stadium.
So, kid, here's what you need to do. You have to really suck for 2 seasons, then have a decent mediocre season, get paid, and then continue to have shit seasons again.
Sucking, and then you can hang around for another 4 or 5 years. Mentoring backup, but
it's the Andy Dalton plan.
Yeah.
Although Dalton was way better.
Speaking of quarterbacks, a little housekeeping here. Our same, better, or worse. We talked about Bryce Young. I think we have to open the book on Bryce Young again, right? Because he did get benched after week 2. And we said, well, that's a worse year than last year, even though it was terrible last year. So maybe we'll revisit that, see if he just comes back for a few games or for the rest of the season. But Anthony Richardson now benched after 6 games.
Colts are an interesting team. They're hard.
Yeah, we all said he's going to have a better season this year.
I think I don't think he has the talent around him, but he's also response time also seems. It seems like they're trying to make him into something that he's not.
Yeah. Well, listen. So far last year, 4 games, 577 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. This year, 6 games, 958 yards, 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Yeah,
no,
not great.
Kind of not great, but I think.
I mean, when you got Joey Flacco on the bench, it's hard. You got him. You got it. Sometimes the trigger comes quick.
Yeah.
True story.
I don't think Flacco even knows what city he's in.
No. They all roll together now.
If you had to ask him his teammate's name, he'd just be like, I don't know. There's that guy, and 88's pretty good. Yeah.
Just tell me the receiver's numbers.
Numbers.
Yeah, Richard said you said they're trying to make him into something. I don't think they know what he is.
Yeah.
They don't know how
he seems uncomfortable as a drop back quarterback.
Well, he is a physical freak, right? That's how he got drafted. So we wowed everybody at the combine.
Right.
And he jumps 6 feet in the air and he runs for whatever and all this stuff.
I think that injury in that first year is still
playing
mentally. He's still recovering from it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not gonna. This benching is not gonna help his.
All right. Next.
Well, on the back to Daniel Jones for a second, and I said this. I've been saying this for weeks. Clearly, they can get out of the contract after this year. It's only like a $12 million hit to the cap next year, as opposed to the $40 million in salary that he's due.
Right.
And they're done. But if he gets injured, then he gets his entire salary next year. Season-ending injury gets his entire salary next year. So if that's the case, why if they're 2-30 already? I think
2-7, right?
they're 2-7. Yeah. But if they're
still got almost half the season.
Okay, 2-7. So they got 8 more games. So they could go 10-7. Do you honestly, realistically think that's going to happen?
No,
I don't know if they're going to win one more game.
We went through this. I think I was optimistic with 4 wins.
All right, I don't think they're going to win one more game. The only chance they have of winning another game is this week in Munich at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time against the Panthers.
And you know the Panthers are going to win that game.
Of course they are, right?
Especially because the poor Giants finally get the Panthers at home, but it's in Munich.
Right. So I don't know. So my point is, why are you keeping him around? He's not the guy. He's not even doing anything this year. The only reason I would say keep starting him is that so they guarantee losses and they get a higher draft pick, right? So, but if that's the case, bench him and put Drew Lock in.
I think they're going to give him 3 or 4 more games so that
that's too many.
Prove that he is done. Because here's what's going to happen. Say they bench him now, okay? Then there's still hope that all right, it's the team, it's not him. I'm not even sure Drew Lock's the best bet to win. Is Drew Lock?
No way. No, Drew Lock is not. Drew Lock isn't as good as Daniel Jones. So if you're worried about putting another quarterback in there and winning,
I might say flip a coin. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. What are they waiting for as far as other personnel that's going to make the team significantly better?
I'll tell you why they're playing him.
Because who's injured right now? Who are they waiting for? If there's nobody, then you bench him, right? And then I know what you're saying. Oh, you only gave him 9 games, and he didn't really have a chance to prove. Well, he's had 5.5 years to prove himself.
Dable feels that their best chance to win is with Jones, and he's fighting for his job. I think Dable's fighting for his job. If the if the Giants go 2-15, how do you not fire Brian Dable? If they go 4 and do the math for me, 13. I mean, still, this isn't what you're paying him for.
Yeah, and you actually got who's the wide receiver they drafted? Kadarius Toney. Right? They thought he was going to be good and he was going to help the offense. It didn't work out. Well, this year you drafted Neighbors and you got what you wanted.
Well, he got hurt, but he's back.
He got hurt, but still he was
right. He played last week, right?
He was great before he went down. So you know what I mean? You don't have that.
He was only out a couple games.
Yeah.
He was only out a couple games.
Right. But I mean, he was tearing it up and everybody was talking about how good he was and he was doing it on the field. So
they're feeling the loss of Saquon. They thought Singletary would fill that role. He has fumbleitis. What's his name? I thought was pretty decent in a couple games and they sort of figured him out. The Giants offensive line, I mean, Jones got sacked, I think only twice last week. And one of them was kind of on him. So they're not clicking. They're not clicking.
Right. But my point is there's nothing that big on the horizon, an injury that they're waiting.
No, what's on the horizon is Brian Dable trying to win 7 games so he doesn't get fired.
Right.
Well,
and you think there's any chance if he does?
He's not going to win 5 more with Daniel Jones. That should be obvious by now.
It's obvious to everyone except him.
I think the best chance of winning he has is Tommy DeVito, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do.
I mean,
I really do.
Let's face it. DeVito's sort of a day.
I'm not saying
Jersey DeVito.
Stop. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is it's the Rudy complex, right? It's the underdog. It's the kid that shouldn't be there. He played 4 games. He started 4 games last year and won 3 of them. With less talent than not including Saquon, and I don't think Saquon played 2 of those games. With less talent around him than he.
I mean, why not? So, why not? That would be.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying that he's the answer or he's the quarterback. No, not at all. You need a new quarterback. But this season, Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, put him in. What do you got to lose?
If nothing
else, I said that like Jersey guy.
2 or 3 weeks of respite from the fans.
Right.
Even if he doesn't play well, they're going to say, well, at least you're doing something
differently.
And they loved They love Tommy Cutlets.
Don't fuck up the ability to get the top draft pick. Don't fuck it up. Lose to the Panthers and lose out.
Well, somebody actually, I saw a post today on one of the Giants groups. Somebody actually blames, I was going to say Danny DeVito.
I saw that too.
Blames Tommy DeVito for winning those 3 games for why the Giants didn't get Jaden Daniels.
The Giants didn't get Jaden Daniels because there's no way they were drafting a quarterback no matter what.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Tommy DeVito had nothing to do with it.
Right.
The Giants are a stubborn organization that are not going to admit that Daniel Jones was maybe the biggest mistake they've made in the history of the
almost everybody that Dave Gettleman drafted was a mistake. So except for Saquon and him, they let go.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, real quick, holy shit, that backwards hurdle that he did.
Oh, ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway,
ridiculous.
What else we got? Are we still on quarterbacks?
I think we're we got any we already did the are they for real for football? So I think that brings us to
I don't know.
What does it bring us to? Oh, I know. Never mind. Hold on.
Well, about the
we have a volume technical problem. It brings us to this.
The 2024 Get On With It podcast fantasy football league.
Oh, we're still doing this?
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah. It's exciting.
I don't even follow it.
Well, listen,
every week I just tell Pete, sit the Jaguars and the Dolphins. You sure that neither of them are playing this week?
Well, there you go.
So it's been an interesting few weeks. Harry has actually picked things up and gotten a couple of wins. He is now ahead of the coin. In third place at 3-5-1. John now has 2 losses, so he still leads. I'm a game behind him. The coin is 2-6-1 as they should be. So I don't know. This league is very strange, and I think it's reflective of the actual National Football League, in that they're just games that you can't figure out how I've got these 6 teams playing and I end up with 1 point or 2 points, or but it's very competitive. Like I said, we're all going to the playoffs anyway. So as of let's see, that's what we've got. Week 10 coming up. Week 9, I guess they say Johnny took his second loss and Harry beat the coin, and so that's good. This week, very interesting. The NFL, I didn't look at the bye situation when I made the schedule. I just sort of put the teams in and rotated around who was playing who, so everybody played everybody the same amount of times. So this week, Johnny's got the Green Bay Packers on a bye. Harry, you and I are playing each other, and we've got everybody available. And the coin has Cleveland, Seattle, and the Raiders all on a bye.
All on a bye.
So John's going up against a 5-team roster with the coin.
Well, there you go. You better win.
Yeah, but look who I have and who they're playing. So I don't expect to win. So,
don't you have the Chiefs?
I do have the Chiefs.
You got the Chiefs, yeah.
That's about it. So would I have 2 wins last week?
Listen, well, look, Chicago has stumbled a little bit. Houston has stumbled a little bit, but they're still good. Anyway, I should send you. I just want to say this about the NFL, and you guys tell me why this is. So it's been basically either 2 or 4 buys per week, starting in week 5, and then there were none in week 8. And like I said, we had 2 last week, 4 this week in week 10. We've got 4 next week in week 11. We've got 6 buys in week 12.
Yep.
And as it so happens, I've got 3 of them, and Harry, you've got 3 of them. So that's good. Then this is the part I don't get. Then none in week 13. And then week 14, 6 again.
Yeah.
What is the point? Why would the NFL do that?
Can I make a broader point?
Yeah.
Let's get rid of the buys.
It extends the season. They get more TV money.
I don't give a fuck.
They'll never get rid of it.
Yeah, no, they never will.
They'll never get rid of it.
They never had it before.
They've had it for many years now. The bye week, though, single bye week. There's the single bye week has been in play for 20-something years now. It's a lot of years.
To Pete's point, they need to space it out so that.
Well, yeah, but they never did
Why
this
would
before.
you do
This is the
6
first
and
year they
then
did it.
0
First year they
and
did
then
it.
6? That's just
Yeah.
it's insane.
Well, there's 2 weeks. Yeah, there's 2 weeks that they had none, and then the next week they had 6.
Yeah.
So
No, it's I don't know.
it doesn't.
But anyway,
Doesn't help our fantasy league.
No, it's going to be
Somebody didn't predict that when they created this thing.
No, I wasn't looking at bye weeks. I was like, yeah, they'll have a couple of bye weeks.
Somebody didn't see that coming when they created this mess of it.
Let me ask you a question. You both have 3 buys, 3 bye teams.
Are we playing each other, though?
Are you playing each other?
No, we're not. I thought about flexing the schedule so that we would play against each other.
Nah,
right.
But the only way I could do that, I forget, something about it makes it unfair.
Well, John, somebody only has 5 available this week too, right? Or no?
The coin. Yeah, and then my week of 3.
Your 3 bye week is week 14,
right?
Which is the next to last week.
Just
of the
let
season.
it ride. It just narrows down who I have to bench.
Right.
I just hope that.
Well, we don't have to bench anybody. We just put in 5 and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
But John.
1 week the Dolphins win.
There you go.
So, John, record wise, he and I are tied points. Harry, second in points, and the coin fourth.
Second in points, huh?
Yeah, you got 27. John and I have 31. And
you guys are tied. Okay.
24.
So I'm really third.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no.
Right.
Second.
Well, you
second
guys
amount of points. We're 1 and 2 tied for 1.
Yeah.
Right.
Always the optimist.
That's what we did when we did our top 10s. Right. When we did our top 10s, there was a tied for first, and then we did 2 and 3, that kind of a thing. It should have been tied for first and then 3, 4, 5, that kind of thing.
All right.
But anyway,
I'm closer than I thought. 31-27. That's a 4 game 4
Yeah,
games.
you've done. I think you're 2-2 in the last 4 weeks, and
I started off horrible.
You've had a couple of 4 week, a couple of 4 weeks, a couple of 3-point weeks. So,
the Bengals and Ravens got off to such horrible starts that that was my those are my 2 top teams. So.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Well, they're playing each other this week, so
I know. So at least they get 1 point.
You get. I think you're in good shape this week.
There you go.
With who you've got and who they're playing, I think you're in pretty good shape.
If I could get 4, I'll be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Whoever I'm playing against will get 5.
I don't know.
I don't know about that. That's hard to get. It's hard to get all 5 or 5 of the 6.
All right.
Quick note on the Jets. How do you feel, resident Jet fan, about your team?
Whatever. They're bad.
All right.
They won though.
Yeah, that was a fluky win.
Of course,
I didn't have him. I didn't have him in, of course.
No, of course not.
Who do the Jets play this week?
Who do the Jets play this week?
We're so professional.
I just had it up. Hold on.
That's what she said.
Giants against the Panthers.
The Jets play the
the Cardinals. Yeah,
Cardinals. Yeah.
So they should win this week.
No, they shouldn't.
No, I don't think so. I think the Cardinals are a better team than the Jets.
Yeah.
I think
the Cardinals are home too. So.
Yeah, I think the Jets are really bad.
Plus, I need the win for the Cardinals. So.
yeah. Johnny is desperate for a Cardinal win.
I don't know. I think the Jets win this week.
Yeah,
well,
we'll see. We'll see. And one other quick note on football on my end. Does it have to be so obvious that the NFL wants the Chiefs to not only go undefeated this year but win 3-peat in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I mean, that was such an egregious false start. I've seen 3 flags come out for a false start for less movement than that.
Yeah.
And nothing.
And I know a lot of people go, oh, you look at the stats and they've been flagged just as many times as anybody, blah, blah, blah.
Not when it counts.
Not when it matters.
Not when it counts. But the thing that really cements it for me is that, yes, there are always bad calls in a game, but there have been other games not involving the Chiefs where you could see the NFL wanting a certain storyline and some really, really, really egregious calls. That, like, there's no way they should have been, the face mask on Bradford Darnold in the end zone and the pass interference that was and the pass interference that wasn't. I mean, just really bad. And you do the math with the points and the spread and the over-under and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just, again, I find it hard to believe that it is a deep-seated, overwhelming conspiracy that a whole bunch of people are in on. But I find it equally as hard to believe that there isn't somebody going, hey, they don't even say, they do it the mafia style.
Mm-hmm.
Be really great if Washington won again this week.
Right.
Be really great if the Chiefs won. Be really great if Minnesota wasn't undefeated anymore.
Right.
And then, well, look at that. A terrible call or a couple of terrible, or I forget what game it was. There were like every third down conversion. Maybe it was Minnesota. Every third down conversion they had was called back. By a penalty.
And then the Minnesota game against Atlanta, right? 2 weeks ago, where which we called Sam Darnold was ripped down by his face mask.
Yeah, right in the end zone, right in front of the official. And there's no apparent consequence for any of this.
None at all.
And that's what happens. And that's what happens when you get in bed with me.
It's like I said. I don't believe there's scripting by any means going on, but what I do believe is there's control.
I agree.
Of the games. Yeah. There's control.
There are suggestions that are made about what we want to happen.
Right. And if a flag here and a flag there can maneuver the game in such a direction that outcome can happen, so be it. If the team is just shit in the bed and there's no amount of flags are going to help them that day, well, it is what it is, right? But yeah,
you've also got a few cases of coaches making inexplicable decisions about kicking a field goal when it's 1st and 10 on the 13, towards the end of the game or something. Or I understand the guy goes down not to go into the end zone, which I hate with a passion, especially when you're up by like 6.
Right.
You're going to go up by 2 scores and there's 37 seconds left. How hard it is to score twice in 37 seconds, especially with the way the kickoff is now. But just you look at it and you go, why would a coach choose to do this or do that?
Right.
And then you go, oh, because the spread was, and they wanted it covered.
Right. Exactly. But
there's just like too many things, and I don't want to hear that we're all just seeing them now. They've had 30 cameras on the games for years now. It's not like there were 4 cameras last year and now there's 12 on every game. They've had multiple cameras ringing the stadium and overhead, and all this stuff was all available.
100%. So, what about a coach? What about a coach constantly now, instead of kicking the damn extra point, going for 2 all the time?
2-point conversion is ludicrous.
Go for it when you need to.
Yes, that's the whole.
Not just because analytics say you make it 50% of the time, so we go for it now. And if we make both of them, well, there you go. We're ahead. If we only make one of them, then we're where we were with 2 extra points. No, shut the fuck up. No, it doesn't work.
You missed an extra point. They scored a field goal. It's 6-3. You go in the end zone again. Just kick it.
Right.
Just kick it. It's 13-3. You're up by 10. Anyway, that's still 2 scores.
Exactly. Stupid.
So yeah, the rule of thumb should be go for 2 when you need it.
There you go.
When you need it to either tie the game. That's about it.
That's about it.
Yeah. But
all right.
Little over under, and then we get out of here.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh wait, let me ask you one basketball question. I know we're just getting into the NBA season, but I heard somebody mention this the other day. I think it was Kornheiser. Antetokounmpo, who he is asking, he seems like a coach killer. Would you trade Antetokounmpo for Joel Embiid straight up?
Would I?
Because Embiid's not playing because he's resting or he wants to be available in the playoffs, I guess, is the story. So he's not playing, and fans are mad.
Yeah.
And Antetokounmpo, I mean, what's going
on paper, yeah, I guess it's whatever. But I think every single Bucks fan in Milwaukee would beat the shit out of the GM of that team. So
yeah, I mean, they re-signed him and he was going to stay there, but they're not winning.
Right.
He's not playing. He's hurt.
Right.
Yeah, give it time. I think the Bucks, it's not really a fair assessment. Same thing with the Sixers. I mean,
well, but they've been lousy since Doc Rivers got there.
Right, but it's a coaching change, not a player change.
I agree.
Well, that was the other question: is he a coach killer?
Is he a coach killer? Yeah, I mean, to a point. There's some coach killing characteristics there, but
I don't know. I mean, look, he obviously had a say in the coaching change. They had all the right pieces, and their bench came together to win a championship.
Yep.
They went out and they thought they needed to change things because they didn't repeat, and they went out and got arguably one of the best players in the game. But basketball is really not just about stats. It's about who you put around your star player.
Right.
And they traded offense for, in lieu of defense. And I'm not sure Doc Rivers is the best coach for this team. I'm not sure Doc Rivers is the best coach for any team at this point in his career.
Right.
But I don't think you don't get rid of Antetokounmpo for an Embiid. It's not going to change anything. Doc Rivers coached Embiid, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and look, when Embiid's healthy, he's one of the best players in the NBA. And I personally have some dislike for him. I think he's an odd character, but give him a chance. He is injury prone. So is Antetokounmpo has been a little bit in the last couple of years. But, he's also suspended 3 games, Embiid, for pushing a reporter. Mm-hmm. So we don't really know what the Sixers are yet.
Right.
But they better find out soon, or else they're going to find themselves in a hole. Same thing with the Bucks.
Mm-hmm. I'm fine with both of that, though.
Yeah, and look, the reporter thing was brought on by the fact that he wasn't playing.
Right.
Everybody's been on his case. Now, it doesn't make it right for him to do it, but
he's hurt. I think he'd play if he could.
No, he's not. It's not hurt. He didn't say he can't play.
Embiid?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a calf injury that he's.
Yeah, he's fine in the Olympics. What did he do that hurt his calf?
I don't know. I mean,
we didn't hear anything about it until
he's just not playing because he doesn't want to play. Come on.
I think he could be playing.
Yeah, I don't know.
And,
See, you could say the same thing about Kawhi Leonard for the last 5 years.
That's true.
Well, that's what people are saying is Kawhi Leonard. But I mean, we know Embiid's a warrior because he's played hurt all the time because he always gets hurt. But that's maybe one thing that makes
I'm not going to question I think if he could play, he'd be playing. I think that for obvious reasons. But they're 1-5. Without him, the Bucks are 1-6.
Yeah,
and
both one ends.
It's who knows.
There you go. All right.
I think Giannis needs to stay in Milwaukee. He made his bed. Maybe they need to do another coaching change, but that team, if they're all, healthy, they should be winning games. But they haven't been playing. They haven't had a full roster yet.
Right. All right. We will we'll talk more as we get further into the season. No good. 2 weeks from tonight, there's not going to be any baseball talk, so we'll have a lot more football. Football. We'll have a lot more basketball. Too. We'll talk a little hockey too. Yeah, talk a little hockey and
see where the Jets are in 2 more weeks.
There you go. The Winnipeg Jets.
There's a Jet. See, there's a Jets team I can root for.
There you go. There you go. All right.
Have to have you want to go over under?
Let's do a little Pete's box over under. Yes.
All right. And it's funny you should call it that. Because it's actually a box.
There you go.
So one of my sons, before he went off to college, actually cleaned his room.
No.
And I went through a whole bunch of stuff. And so he has a big, like one of those 6-foot bowling picnic tables. And it's got, a bunch of things that he dug out of the corners or the bottom of the closet or whatever. No. The other one, his room looks largely the same, still a mess. Few places you can actually see the floor, but not too many. But anyway, so he found a box of colored pencils.
Box of colored
This is your
pencils.
standard plastic. Got a little snap on it, and you slide the thing out.
Mm-hmm.
And these have not been used, I would imagine, since probably middle school.
Wow.
But there you can see it is about yay wide.
Those are
Yay
nice.
tall.
Nice case too.
Nice case.
It's a nice case. It's actually sturdy.
Are they
Really
Prismacolor?
sturdy. Are they what?
Prismacolor?
Let's see. Let me pull one out and see. I think there's a couple different kinds in here.
You can't have different kinds.
I don't think I can read what it says. Crayolas.
Crayola. Wow.
Crayolas.
There you go. Here, Mom.
But they are all colored. So it is basically a box of crayons in pencil.
Hold it up again.
Hang on.
Me?
No, not you.
There you go. Cool. Nice.
And lots of different colors.
All right.
I am going to write down.
The over under is 29.5.
I am going to.
Why
write
are you
down
setting the over under?
the number?
I'm guessing the over under.
I'm going to write down the number of how many are actually in there.
Oh, all right. We don't need. We
Right
believe you.
Right.
And I'm going to set the over under
At
27 and a half.
That was close.
Okay. Who goes first? Who's going first?
Let's see. Well, Harry won his football matchup against the Coin last week, so I think Harry can go first.
There you go.
I'm gonna go. I'm always wrong on. I'm gonna go over.
I'm gonna go
All right.
over.
Well, I was gonna-
27.5.
I was going to go under anyway. So there you go.
All right. Well, there we go.
Reveal
Well,
it.
the actual number is
Can't read that.
25.
25.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought there was
There we go.
30 in there.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't know if
I counted 9 and then I counted 3 rows really quick. And then I figured there's a couple that are miss, not straight up and down in the middle. So I was thinking 27 minus 2 or 3. So that's where I was.
There we
So I
go.
was right.
Very nice.
Yeah, this is a Staples box
All right. Very nice.
with what looks to be, probably almost, if not full set of Crayola pencils in it. So
You're going to say teeth. I don't know why I thought you were going to say teeth. A full set of teeth in there.
full set of teeth in the box.
A full set of teeth in the box.
That's a different room in the house.
That's
Yeah,
different.
that's-
They haven't cleaned that room yet.
That's the jewelry making room.
I don't know why, but my son was collecting other people's teeth.
Yeah. A box.
He's been doing it.
You got 4 boxes of teeth, 1 box of
Okay.
pencils.
Yeah, $1 a pencil. There you
Yeah.
go. All right. Cool. We good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because Harry,
All right.
you gotta get rolling, right?
Yeah, maybe we got time for one more weird thing from Pete if you got it.
All right. So I think we talked about this before, but what do you guys think about the Bronny James on the Lakers?
Oh God.
I mean, I think I'm not going out on too much of a limb here when I say I think we all think he doesn't really belong there, right?
Oh,
But, like,
100%.
do you have
That's an
let's say-
understatement.
what is your level of problem with it? Everything from no problem to this is one of the worst fucking things, and
This
this is
is-
another sign of the decline and fall of the NBA.
I think
Which
it's
is
just.
already one of the worst leagues for players running the show, right?
I think that it was timed to be in the beginning of the season. I think it was something that LeBron orchestrated completely. I think it's a sham. I think that he's a D-League player, maybe. I don't think he would have ever been drafted, let alone drafted where he was,
Right.
if it wasn't the fact that he was LeBron's son. And I think this is maybe the most blatant case of nepotism in sports that I've ever witnessed. And it makes me want to vomit. And I think to me, tarnishes LeBron's legacy more than the big fucking reveal that he did when he joined the Heat. I hate it. But
John?
I agree. I agree. I agree 100%.
but I think it's over now.
I agree 100%. There were
Well,
there was a stat, what was it, a couple weeks ago in his first game. It was Bronny is the first player ever to be interviewed post game that had 0 baskets, 0 assists, and 0 boards.
It was a Blutarski.
He was
0.0.
Yeah, I mean,
0.0.
he's G League bound.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take a slight.
He's averaging 0.7 points a game.
Yeah. He doesn't belong there. He doesn't belong there.
Yeah.
Here's my take, which is going to be slightly different. I also think that this is not something that should happen. Obviously, it is. I would say it's a sign of the decline and fall of the league, but I don't think there's anyone else that has the power to do this. Any other player other than LeBron, and B has a child who's good enough, which I could be proven wrong over the next couple of years or whatever.
Could you imagine Michael Jordan trying to do this?
Never in a million years would he do that.
But
Michael Jordan wouldn't want somebody this shitty on his team.
No, he wouldn't. But here's the thing. I don't blame LeBron.
No.
As I blame the Lakers for allowing it to happen.
Well, yeah.
Because
I blame LeBron a little bit, but yeah, I agree with you though. I agree with
because
you.
Here's
the
what
Lakers
I
could have said,
look,
"Screw you, LeBron."
Right. People will do what you let them get away with, and LeBron. I mean, he certainly runs the Lakers,
right.
and is more important to the league right now. Whether you think he's the greatest ever or not is irrelevant. He's more important to the league than just about anybody else, and I think people will do what you let him get away with. And I think this is something he wanted to do. He wanted to play with his son, whether just to say, yeah, we played together, or a publicity stunt, or whether he just wanted another reason for people to talk about, in this business, the pundits, to talk about the Lakers, because they don't have enough reason to talk about the Lakers.
Right.
Whatever the reason, he just wanted to do it. And I agree. It's unclassy. Well, I'm not sure what the right word is. It's not something he should have done, or he should have done, or anybody should do. But I blame the Lakers for letting him do it. And
I think it shows you where, what that relationship is.
Yeah.
Look,
and I don't know if he, that might be part of the reason he did it. Maybe he just wanted to send yet another message that we the players, i.e. me and the other superstars, we are in charge of this league, and we will do, or at least I will do, whatever the fuck I want.
And look, the Lakers, it was good because it was the number one topic on all the morning sports shows the next day, and we got people talking about the Lakers. The only other person in the history of the NBA, had they had a son who was of the age where he could have pulled this off, that I think would have done this, was Magic Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Lakers, because I think they were both all about, but it didn't happen. And I'm not going to project that too much onto Magic, but yeah, I mean, we saw this coming for years, and it's just something that LeBron wanted to do. And look, the Lakers wasted a draft pick on him.
Yeah. But on the other hand, how many guys does the average NBA coach actually play? It's 12 on the bench, right?
Not 12
how many guys
on the
play?
Bench. There's 12 total.
12 total.
12 on the team. How many guys actually go in?
Depends. I mean, most of the time there's only 1, 2, maybe 3 players who don't get in the game. So, there's 9,
right.
10,
so
10
my
that
point
play.
is, if Bronny is the 12th guy,
right?
He's not going to play that much. He's not going to have that much effect on the game. So again, I'm not trying to justify it, but I'm just thinking about the rationality. And look, the other thing is, doesn't Milwaukee have 2 Antetokounmpos, right? Isn't it?
They
Jonas'
do.
cousin or whatever. Brother.
Right?
Yeah, and that guy plays 3 minutes a game when they're up by 30, which isn't very often.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody's really questioning his credentials for actually being a NBA player. Obviously not a great NBA player, but I think he can hold his own in the NBA.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't think Giannis had him, there wasn't a parade, and they didn't hug and say, "Look, we're the first two cousins from Greece to play in the NBA together." Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I just, it's. I mean, this is already the really bad thing is. This is, to me, it's already the worst league as far as players running the show, right? It's worse than baseball. It's worse.
Baseball's Baseball's getting there.
Baseball's getting there, but basketball, Harden and Durant,
absolutely,
and Kyrie.
Basketball's the worst.
Basketball's still the worst, and this doesn't help.
No.
All right. Sounds like a show.
And that was one more weird thing from Pete.
That was one more weird thing from Pete.
Well, I heard some people talking about it. I heard some of the guys yelling and screaming and outraged. And I heard other people going, I don't know, whatever. Is it really going to make a difference to the Lakers' record this year? So
not only does LeBron have the Lakers in the palm of his hands, he has half of ESPN in the palm of his hands.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's for sure too.
All right.
And listen, we don't even know how much, if any, the people bet on the NBA too.
You think?
I mean, I saw an ad for it's one thing if they're legalized gambling and all that. I saw an ad the other day for ESPN bets.
Of course, it's where all the money is now.
Supposed to be the journalists here.
Yeah, there's no journalism.
But no,
there's three journalists: Brian Windhorst, what's her name from? There's three of them, and then when they're on because they're actually making sense and talking about something that's actually going on in the world.
Yeah, who's the Tim Kurchin?
Tim Kurchin, there you go, and who's the other guy?
Somebody else, I don't know.
Yeah. The rest of them are just failed players and idiots who somehow have convinced ESPN that they're worth having them on the air.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. That should be our next show is the worst personalities on ESPN.
Worst personalities on ESPN. That'll be a top 5 list. Then we'll do.
It's got to be a top 50 list.
No,
how about we try and pick 5 good ones?
That would prove to be harder. Yeah,
that might be more challenging.
Malika Andrews, right? Yeah, isn't she? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
All right. Okay. Well, like I said, we'll talk more about more basketball and a little bit of hockey on the next show. Since baseball is done till
no hockey,
we do some hot stove in the winter. All right. On that note, folks, we'll wrap up the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.getonwithitpodcast.com. That's getonwithitpodcast.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Please like us.
Just search for the Get On With It podcast. And, of course, all of our shows are available on YouTube as well on the Logger Room channel. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch every other Wednesday night around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Tonight was an early start. We're done at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. But it was a special show tonight. We had to start earlier. So for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser, Refonic. Pretty much anywhere you can find an audio podcast, you will find the Get On With It podcast, Get On With It sports podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds and you'll never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. And before we go, just take a quick look at this brand new chandelier that was just invented. There you go.
Mm-hmm. The Simon Le Bon Delier.
The Simon Le Bon Delier.
That's right.
There you go. I gotta love it. There you go. Anyway, on that note, folks, have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk to you in a couple weeks. Take care. Cheers.
Bye, everybody.